Greetings, various denizens of the internet, and welcome back to yet another Arena 51 Scrim Night. I'm Funky Monk, I'll be your play-by-play for this evening, and joining me is the lovely Fralex. How you doing, Fralex?
I was thinking to go with hello there, but I'm doing fine.
That's lovely. We've got a real treat for you all tonight. We've got Tera Vicious, which you'll recognize some names from, against the team known only as Power Bottoms, which let's just get the name out of the way. It's, you know, it's there. We're going to be referring to them as Power Bottoms for the entire night, so it'll be a relatively entertaining cast, I think.
Yeah, it's a fun name, No Cap, and No Cappers is one of the players on the team. So,
Ah, yes.
um, there's a lot of fun names in to match the fun team name I see here.
Mm.
So all in all, I think the names are going to be fun at least.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have fun casting this. I think the play is definitely going to be at definitely quite a high level, I think. Tera Vicious is like a 4K team, one of the ones that we have here at Arena 51. And, you know, if you've been in the community for a while, you'll recognize some of the names on there. We got Creed, we got Luau, we got Orcio, all from, you know, Alpha Centauri. It's sort of a spiritual successor to that team. I personally am very excited to see, you know, what they play, how they play. And I'm especially excited to see whether or not Creed plays his signature Reinhardt.
Ryan is typically seen on more closed-up spaces, but as you've seen many times from the London Spitfire, you can make him work on every map as long as you have the team play for it. But if we do go to a Legion control center, or maybe even a Nepal village, or maybe even if we're lucky, King's Row, and see some Ryan there. But if it's really a comfort pick for Creed, so I'm thinking they'll be more enticed to bring it out than most other teams.
Yeah, I definitely think that the brawl will definitely be something that Tera Vicious will definitely favor. What would intrigue me about it is whether or not I say whether or not we see, you know, brawl, but of course we don't have the May, so that kind of key piece of the brawl will be, you know, lost for now until November 17th, I think, when that patch, you know, comes through, the wall bug is fixed and whatnot.
Tomorrow.
Yes, I think it's the 17th
Yeah,
tomorrow.
it's
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes. We will be seeing, though, actually, Sojourn, I think probably Sojourn Reaper coming out here. And interesting, Luau's gone for the Kiriko, which I'm not sure is a bait pick.
I
Luau.
mean, we really do. We really have seen Lucio paired up with Kiriko a lot recently. You know, the old meta comp, it's still very powerful, even though it's not that patch they're playing on quite yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if we did see it. And either way, Kiriko Lucio is a really strong support lineup. It's not diveable, and like the best person you could dive is a Kiriko who has wasted TP, or a Lucio. So I don't like that odds. So it's a really solid support lineup that's really dive proofed and can really go well with these type of monkey comps.
Yeah, and due to that, you know, dive proofness of that backline, often you see teams trying to force out maybe the Wraith form of the Reaper and then just trying to rush them down. Because once the Reaper doesn't have Wraith form anymore, they're kind of dead if you just focus fire them down. Of course, there's not really enough burst healing from a Kiriko Lucio backline to keep a Reaper up for any meaningful length of time. So if everybody just shoots that Reaper, they're not long for this world.
Exactly, and one resource you don't talk about too much in that comp is the bubble. The monkey bubble is so crucial, especially in the mirror matchup, where it functions a lot like the Lucio speed in Brawl of the Overwatch 1 rather. You can use it to take space. The other team may be able to back off without using bubble, then re-engage with their own bubbles. So like bubbles, and when you are at bubble disadvantage, respectively, the bubble advantage is really crucial when it comes to that comp. But we have a map switch. It's not New 20th Street. It's maybe Busan. But
Yeah.
but it seems like we have ping issues coming with that we're on the wrong servers.
Yeah, they seem to be having some technical issues. I think they've gone with a very special combo you can see there from Tera Vicious with the Farah ball. I mean, that's something you don't often see on this sort of control center. It does favor the brawl a lot more. I think they're just kind of messing around for a little bit, maybe trying to sort out their technical issues. Oh, hello.
Especially the younger Queen pick. It's not something that we see often, and not since the big nerf after the summer showdown.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
Mm.
So, do you have any specific team comps that you would like to see, except for the Reinhardt?
Well, to be honest, I'm quite surprised to be seeing Luau on support. Their flex DPS has definitely been, one of the highlights of that old Alpha Centauri roster. So it'll be really interesting to see how they adapt to that role. And honestly, I think anything that, would be within Luau's comfort zone, although I don't really know where Luau's comfort zone is. I've never seen them on that support. But I imagine, you get the kind of Winston comps, you get that sort of thing. Maybe an Ana every now and then just to spice things up a little. But I reckon we won't really see much deviation from the sort of standard thing that we've been seeing.
Yeah. I completely see what you're getting at. And I do feel like if a team is interested and is really comfortable on certain heroes that's a bit more off meta, I feel like we can really see them shine. I personally seen a ball with the avoided a la Overwatch 2 on typical ball favored ball likey maps such as Nepal Village and Legion Garden, and doing really good actually. And Cinema comps of course on Yonker Town on Circuit Royale. And don't forget, we have Zarya. She's
Oh,
not nerfed
yes.
yet.
Yeah, Zarya not being nerfed is definitely a sort of more powerful character on this current patch, as well as, of course, the Diva with a, Matrix that continues to be, very, very strong, like full 3 seconds worth of defense there. But I think, with this scrim, I think the teams are trying to, prepare for the patch tomorrow rather than trying to win a scrim on, a patch that they aren't quite, they're not going to play for a while,
Precisely. And that's probably why we're not going to see that much of Genji, who's getting decimated this next patch. He had his spot in the sunshine.
Yeah.
Now he's going to go to mediocrity for the rest of his Overwatch 2 career.
Yep, totally justified nerf, especially while we have characters like, I don't know, Sojourn, for instance, in the game, as well as, Reaper. You can do still very powerful with, not much of a skill, not as high of a skill floor as Genji, and definitely not as high of a skill ceiling. He's a lot more of a fundamentals hero, where if you aim well and you position well, you'll get a lot of value out of him. But with Genji, there's a lot of techs going on. And also I question the balance philosophy of nerfing a hero that's good at high ranks and then not nerfing the hero that's good at high ranks. Yeah.
So the Sojourn not getting a touch, it's the only reason for that is just she's underperforming a lot in lower ranks, where you don't see enough good aim, and in general you just don't see the type of game knowledge, and you don't really see the early railgun charge picks as you see in the higher ranks, where you can that the higher ranks abuse of Sojourn, and thus the more consistent damage of Soldier 76 or that, or as my team likes to call it, that legs has more consistent damage output than thighs.
Mm.
As the names are really quite easy to mix up.
Yeah, of course, the thighs being, you know, a muscle in the legs. But it looks like we are going to finally be getting into things. The technical issues seem to have sorted out. We're going to be rolling out on mecha base here on these, you know, very standard, more meta compositions.
It's yeah, it's the old meta comp. I really want to see how these Winstons use their bubble here.
Yeah, I think the bubble usage is going to be very, very important, both Winstons. The first bubble actually coming out from Golden Beam, who's dropping very, very low. Gets taken out almost immediately there by Creed. This is just completely free range for Tera Vicious to go, well, vicious, I guess. They get to push back power bottoms all the way to their spawn just from losing that one Winston. Sure, Nugs gets to try and get a pick with that railgun, but it's just not going to work for them.
Yeah, one thing you saw was Nugs playing way to the left and even gets staggered when Creed gets on top of them. But you saw how Nugs played really to the side, like a lot, very far away from the fight. Couldn't contribute as much as Nate could. And in combination with, I think, Golden Beam being a bit too greedy and staying in too long, had the jump out, I believe. But just stayed in. You got a bit too greedy, and you saw the bubbles again. Golden Beams got used early, got demolished. Creeds was intact, and they won the fight. Not just because of it, but it was a contributing factor, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like we're just going to go right back into the game. It just had a little bit of a pause. One of the members of, I think, Power Bottoms was on a little bit too high ping. But you will see now Tera Vicious once again living up to their name, just getting like 3 kills in very quick succession and just honestly winning a fight before it had even really started.
Indeed, they are. And yeah, they played a bit too split. From the side of power bottoms, in my opinion.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go all in now, but it will be Nate getting that first pick onto the Reaper of no Kappas, and as such, Golden Beam falls very quickly afterwards. Gregsterboy just about getting a kill there, but it's not enough to stop the onslaught of Tera Vicious.
Yeah, you can't deny the value Sojourns can present by getting early picks every fight. And especially when you're so accurate as Nate has been proven to be, it's really hard to miss.
Yeah, the Kitsune Rush now coming out, but Creed has already found the first pick onto Nugs. This will be absolutely huge for Tera Vicious. The Winston dropping very, very low, only just managing to take out Tom on the Lucio. Nate with that railgun, securing the kill onto Golden Beam, and Creed with that Tesla cannon, taking out Callum at the end there.
They use their Beyblade Let It Rip combo, Blossom and Kitsune, but they still have a pretty old bank to work with, and it's not that high of a old bank advantage, especially because they have this positional advantage that's really massive. And oh, another pick.
Oh, Nate! The signal to go in is just there immediately and gets another kill with that railgun. Absolutely popping off, getting that overclock off, trying to find yet another pick, and they do. Creed following up on that with the jump pack. It's only the Winston and the Reaper on the point. The Lucio only just managing to get that sound barrier in. Tom uses the sound barrier of their own just to try and get things moving again. Gets that kill onto No Kappa's Reaper. Gets another kill onto Gregsterboy. The Sojourn of Nate really trying to keep things going, building that railgun charge, trying to get a kill. Does not manage to, unfortunately, before being taken down by Golden Beam, but the trade is there. Golden Beam finding 2 now on the point, really trying to get things moving for the side of Power Bottoms, getting a 3rd kill. This guy just isn't dying. The target focus from Tera Vicious is almost non-existent, and I think they'll be chasing Tera Vicious off the point just because Golden Beam survived that long.
Golden Beam dropped to like almost 1 HP of health, and then Callum came in clutch with a Kitsune Rush that got the cooldowns recharged, and I was able to top him up. And after that, they just focused out the targets.
Yeah, we will be seeing no Kappas with this Death Blossom. Fades in, goes for it, doesn't quite manage to find anything just yet. Gregs the Boy does manage to take out Luau, and Golden Beam with that melee onto Nate. Callum finding a headshot onto Orzio. This will be a fight going in the way of Power Bottoms. I guess they didn't really get as much as they would have wanted with that. Creed managing to get a pick, as does Tom right at the end there. The point being forced out a little bit there, but not quite enough to create any meaningful damage.
Now Kappa is trying to blossom in the middle of Kitsune, and everybody just ran away. Not that hard. But now they have Power Bottoms have some people coming from spawn, so Tera Vicious is able to get a position onto the point.
Yeah, the point has been forced. You see Golden Beam going in. No jump, no bubble. They have to use the Primal Rage to stay alive. Orzio trying to solo Blossom there. Doesn't quite work in their favor. The Primal Rage from Creed trying to get something done here after no Kappas takes out Nate on that Reaper. Luau, though, with that clutch headshot, managing to take no Kappas out of the fight. This fight is still continuing. The Reaper of Orzio is still alive, having to retreat there to get a bit of a health pack. Nugs falls very low. The Tesla Cannon from Creed finishing the job there. Orzio going straight in once again. We're seeing so much just support being poured into this one Reaper. Luau with another headshot, and it's a C9. Oh dear, it's a C9 for the first map of the scrim.
C9, but without it, they would surely get the point. Tera Vicious there. Only one member left for Power Bottoms, and that was No Capper's. And No Cap, he would have died. They would have died the minute they got to the point. So very well deserved. Power Bottoms was able to actually fight back and get some percentage on the point, but I think they got alive a bit too late, and only because of some heroics by Golden Beam on the monkey. So I really feel like they really should look to try and shut down Nate more, which No Cappers will probably be trying to do with this Genji pick. But let's see, they don't have the damage of Reaper, which will be a huge difference in the monkey matchup.
Yeah, you already see them going in. The deflect already forced out from the Genji. They're very vulnerable now, and they know it. The dash tries to get away. They do manage to. Orzio goes a little bit in too far, but of course, Nate with that brokenly overpowered railgun, headshotting Gregs the Boy out of the fight. Luau, of course, with the kunai, so consistent with those headshots, managing to take out Golden Beam as well. This fight going in the way of Tera Vicious, with Creed securing that kill onto Nugs.
Yes, indeed. And again, Nate just opens the fight up beautifully with that railgun headshot, and yeah, it just shows why Sojin is so broken. Nate being able to carry both last point and even this point as these 20% with just one headshot per fight.
Yeah, No Kappa's trying to pull some of the same heroics. They have enough charge to be able to one-shot someone, but disaster strikes as Golden Beam is taken out early into the fight as well. Orzio with 2 now has to use that Wraith form. Does get taken out at the end there by Callum, but already the fight is just won by Tera Vicious once again. I hate to be repeating myself, but it's the theme of the scrim so far.
Yeah, and it's hard to pinpoint anything that's gone wrong, but they are trying to force their way through a little short every time. Golden Beam gets isolated by bubbles and probably pushes in a bit too late, and now goes in alone.
That follow-up there from Creed onto that headshot by Luau onto No Kappas was absolutely delightful to watch. Now Golden Beam has to try and compensate, but it will be Nugs being taken out by Orzio, finding 2 yet again. Gregs the Boy just running for his poor life, just trying to get out of there before facing the wrath of Creed, taking up to 75% on the point now, and Tera Vicious are still getting kills.
Yeah, but now we see the ultimate economy has really switched into Power Bottom's favor, and the thing that happened in the last fight is that the loose Golden Beam and Gregs the Boy went one way, the other 3 went the another way, so they could easily collapse onto the other trio, and yeah, and it was all after that.
Golden Beam just got melted there. The Kitsune Rush met by the sound barrier of Tom. They're trying to keep this going, but they don't have their Winston. And Orcio takes advantage of that with the Death Blossom, finding 3 there. Orcio popping off Luau with that final confirming headshot, and Busan will go the way of Tera Vicious.
Yeah, really deserved. I mean, we still have to see the last map of Busan, but yeah, it's pro. I hope that it's not going to be more of the same. I really hope we see another team composition or even a more close point. But props to Tera Vicious. They're doing a wonderful job, and I think one thing that happens when you put Luau, a previous DPS, on this Chirico is that you're able to land these kunais way more easily because you have way more routine in aiming than you would have if you just were a support, especially clicking heads.
Yeah, Luau has been so consistent with these kunais. It's been, you know, just sometimes the difference maker in fights. Nux goes in for a little bit of a, I hope you don't mind me saying, a ballsy TP there, gets punished by Orcio, of course, on this Reaper. Absolutely popping off, finding a second onto Gregsterboy, forcing the slide away from No Cappers. It will be Tera Vicious, once again, winning the fight and winning the points.
Yeah, and the TP was a bit weird. Nards TP'd where they could easily see them, and they were more optimal TP positions, so you could look at. It was. I agree that you really should be doing that, but yeah, maybe looking to where you're TPing next time. But it was a good thought.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, they probably can win this though.
I think Nux just went for that same sort of teleportation again, and that does manage to find them a kill this time, but unfortunately, Gregsterboy is 1 HP and gets taken out immediately afterwards by Orcio, who then swiftly gets taken out by Golden Beam, when Nate finding that final kill onto Nugs. It's really even, this fight so far. You know, Power Bottom's really trying to make some kind of egress onto point. Nate slides away from Golden Beam, who gets swiftly taken out by that railgun shot. Gregsterboy following up there, trying to get something going, killing Nate. Does manage to give them a little bit of momentum, but it's immediately cancelled out by Tom's speed. And now Tera Vicious can go absolutely ham and just press the W key. It forces cooldowns immediately, but No Cappers with the body shot railgun onto Orcio. Really just trying to keep them alive in this fight. This fight is still going. Creed with the Primal Rage managing to take out No Cappers in the end. Wow, once again with that headshot onto Nugs of the Reaper. I mean, that overclock may not have won them the fight, but it did force a lot of ults out of Tera Vicious, I think.
It didn't though. It only forced the Primal, just the beat was already used. So in the end they end up using the overclock and the Primal. And on the other side, Tera Vicious used the beat and the Primal, so it's not that much extra mileage you got out of the alt used. And one thing you've really been seeing throughout this map is that I'm gonna take this A afterwards.
Oh, the Beyblade not quite working there for Orcio, but they do manage to still take out Gregsterboy after that beat. 3 kills now coming in for Tera Vicious. Overtime starting to tick away. There's no contest really. 100-0, 3-0. Tera Vicious take the first map by an absolute landslide.
Yeah, and as I was about to say that one playstyle difference between these two Reapers. Orcio tends to play way more with his monkey and helping this monkey mirror, whilst I feel like Nards is going for these TPs into the back line and not really playing with Golden Beam. So that's maybe something you look into, because you're losing the monkey matchup because you don't have the Reaper damage that's really essential to bursting a monkey.
Yeah, and we saw that several times where Golden Beam would just step 1 second outside of their bubble and just be immediately taken out by just the focus fire from Tera Vicious. And, you know, of course, I think Nugs is trying to embody the tried and tested, you know, Reaper copy pasta of, you know, coming in from the side, getting 3 or 4 shots, trying to execute a kill.
Yeah, it's a bit harder now either ways. In terms with, especially when you have cleanse, which is basically an immortality field for 1 second, and which I personally feel is totally absurd. And the amount of times that I've been like 1 HP to taking out the target, where just cleansed and then the target is back to full health. It's yeah, it's frustrating, nonetheless. But either ways, it's a skill shot where you really need to time it and keep it for the right time. And again, to balance it more, I would suggest hide in the cooldowns. But we're not here to talk about balance, are we?
No, we definitely haven't mentioned how Sojourn is brokenly overpowered at least 3 times already. What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah, I definitely think that, you know, having that sort of immortality be a skill shot with, you know, a timing window is definitely, I'm gonna say more balanced, but like immortality is immortality, you know?
Yeah, and maybe lower the immortality a bit, maybe to half a second.
Yeah, so it's more of like a cleanse, or maybe
Yeah,
a really maybe you use it on a widow who tries to peek for a shot just to make sure that maybe that's viable. Who knows? Like you use it on a widow who wants to peek an infra site just so they don't get their head immediately blown off. Who knows, right?
Yeah, or yeah, it's the main purpose, I believe, is still to like cleansing, say nades and such, and the immortality is just a byproduct. From what I can interpret as the devs intended it to be. So, and still, a half a second of immortality, you can still get in some crucial healing that can completely save a squishy target. Say this squishy is like at 50 HP, about to die. Bam, cleanse. You can easily get like a BAP shot, some healing in, and you're up to at least 100 HP again. And by the time that you're able to sustain the person, maybe they're able to escape and so on and so forth. It's half a second is still way more than you think, and at the current rate, at the current point it's right now, I feel like they're invulnerable for far too long. The key difference between the cleanse and the lamp that BAP has is that lamp can be destroyed and you can still do damage. Thing is, with cleanse, you can't even damage them.
Yeah, that is definitely sort of the key difference between them, where, you know, with lamp you definitely have that HP threshold, which is, I think, you know, set to 40 on a regular 200 HP target. I could be wrong there, and I don't know.
I believe it's 20 right
20, wow.
Yeah, I think it was 40 on launch when they launched it, and for a while. But I believe they recently, you know, not so recently, but a while ago, they nerfed it to only like 10% of the overall HP, I believe.
Yeah, that must be my mistake. I think, you know, going in now to Colosseo, we'll definitely be seeing these sorts of Reaper Sojourn, Kiriko Lucio comps with the Winston, as you mentioned. It's definitely going to be, I mean, it was quite homogenous in Overwatch League anyway, so I don't imagine it'll be particularly different, you know, in Scrim Nights, where everybody's trying to, you know, perfect the objectively best composition available to them.
Unless you really are comfortable on one hero, and you can make that that hero work in certain niche scenarios on their best maps. Say you have a Bastion main who's really nuts at Bastion. And you want to play Bastion on certain points where Brawl is actually viable, or you have a insanely trash Pharah where you want to play Pharah on like Gardens. I feel like it's viable.
Can't help but feel you're getting at a particular team.
No. I'm not talking about my own team. No.
Oh no, absolutely not. Why would you do that? I mean, it's, you know. Looks like we are gonna go for a pause, actually, as maybe more technical difficulties. Who knows? This is a scrim night. This is not, you know, this isn't your average standard, you know, tournament setting. This is more casual, but we still like to cast it as if it's more of a competitive thing. That's why, you know, we call, you know, stuff like control maps after the first two if it's a 2-0. It's, you know, it's why we keep score up at the top. You know, it's it's definitely more of an entertaining watch to have it be more of a competitive thing, but you will get all of the scuffedness that comes with scrims, unfortunately.
Yeah. It seems that we're on India servers again, or some other servers, because everybody's on 100 plus ping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, we have nonetheless we have a substitution coming in for power bottoms. We have SGT Panda coming in for Nuggers. So they're replacing these. They're stepping up the replay for another player who might play Reaper as well. Probably will. So we see if the playstyle of the Reaper on Power Bottom's team gets changed, and how that affects the outcome of this stream.
Yeah, it'll definitely be quite interesting. I will also note that Nux has gone onto the support role now. So maybe that explains a lot of why, you know, maybe the Reaper wasn't quite as optimal, as maybe they could only find a DPS ringer, and Nux was like, you know what, I can play one map on support, that will be fine. Of course, I'm not familiar with the Power Bottoms team structure. I probably shouldn't be speculating, but if you're looking for structure and teams, then well, we have a tournament this weekend. Signups close on Thursday evening. It's open SR, so we recommend that, you know, you're like 4K plus. It's definitely going to be a very competitive tournament. We cast it, we'll stream it. It's this weekend.
I will be there.
Yep, and I will be there as well. We will be casting one of the games. So if you like what you're hearing, then, you know, be sure to check it out.
Yep. But what you really should be checking out now is this map, as it's been starting. It started on the same composition that we saw for the entirety of Busan.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be seeing this a lot more often. They're both going to try and make an early grab for the bot. Creed in the slightly more favorable position of being inside there. They get a little bit more ground off of it, trying to, you know, get a little bit of damage chunked in. Golden Beam will be the first person to engage, but it will be actually Orzio who's the first to fall. And, I mean, this is definitely a large upswing for Power Bottom. Sergeant Panda getting that Sojourn diff, Grex the Boy getting the Lucio there. I think that was just, you know, both teams getting the kills of their opposites. It was definitely a great fight.
Yeah, and an interesting thing you saw is that both No Towers and Golden Beam used their cooldowns. Both Ray forms, respective jump and bubble to get into the fight. And even though they weren't punished for using their escape abilities to engage. Interesting. But SGT Panda, the substitution coming in now, picking up the Sojourn, getting an early pick.
Yeah, that early pick was definitely very crucial, but Orzio will be following up with a kill onto Golden Beam, forcing the Wraith form out of no cappers. But Sergeant Panda just popping off on the Sojourn, managing to find that kill onto Creed. Nate with the Disruptor shot, managing to take them out of the fight. The Reaper now under pressure from Orzio, but it will be Orzio to fall, unfortunately, for the side of Tera Vicious. It's only Luau and Nate and frankly Tom on the point, and they just have to get the hell out of Dodge here. They use the Kitsune Rush to try and keep this fight going because now Creed is back, and they do manage to find a kill onto that Lucio. Golden Beam falls very, very low. They are able to get out just about by the skin of their teeth. Creed taking out No Cappers, who didn't quite have the same sort of escape option, and we will now see Tera Vicious taking space aggressively.
Yeah, but it's still really good progress for the side of Power Bottoms. They got more than half the distance pushed, and it's a solid foundation. And with the 5-pack of ultimates, they really should be pleased with their progress, especially when Tera Vicious needed to invest the Kitsune to win the fight.
Yeah, I think they're going to use them all now. 3 now coming out. Golden Beam with the primal range, managing to find Orzio, and the Death Blossom taking Tom out of the fight. Getting a second now onto Luau with No Cappers taking out Creed right at the end there. All progress from Tera Vicious just has been completely halted, and they still have their support ults to work with.
Yeah, they still do, but they invest 3 ults in a fight. I mean, Creed ends up using their primal, but otherwise it's 3 ults to 1.
That's a lovely Death Blossom there, getting that opening pick onto Gregsterboy. The Railgun coming in clutch, getting that Sojourn diff, which is oh so crucial in these fights. Now all of that one-shot potential is gone, and it will be Tera Vicious getting that other fight. That Death Blossom really opening things up for them.
Yeah, it really did. And now I would say the ult economy is seemingly evened. Both of them have 2 ults each, and but what you see here is that Tera Vicious don't have bad spawns, so they can't really take this early fight. And Orcio, you see it, the waveform has been forced early.
That's an absolutely clutch disruptor shot, though, from Nate. It forces the beat out of Gregsterboy, and they only have the singular healer to work with. Golden Beam is very, very low on health and will be trying to get out as soon as possible. But the target focus just isn't quite there from Tera Vicious, so Golden Beam and No Kappas as well are able to escape with their lives for now.
Yeah, and now we see Battle of the Kitsunes.
Yep, the Kitsune rush from both sides now coming out, but it will be Tera Vicious taking that early lead in the fight with picks onto the Sojourn and the Winston. No Kappa's trying to swing this back in the favor of Power Bottoms with a kill onto Tom. Now it's just an awkward aim duel between them and Luau, which Luau ends up winning with a punch to the face.
Yeah, way easier to aim. The punch is, and now this should be a first point completion, but we see a touch from Power Bottoms.
Yeah, Power Bottoms really trying not to let Tera Vicious get this checkpoint as well as the forward spawns. We're gonna keep going here. Orcio finding that crucial first pick once again onto Golden Beam. The Death Blossom coming in, finding 2. Orcio with a third. The 5k stolen by Creed, who takes it upon himself to take out Sergeant Panda. It is a team kill there coming in for Tera Vicious, and the forward spawns unlocked.
Yep, they are indeed, and the forward spawns really have a significant difference in the fights, because yeah, you have faster respawns, so you can more easily match up in the middle after fights.
Ooh, Gregsterboy almost taken off of the map there. Sergeant Panda finding that lovely railgun headshot onto Orcio. The bot still progressing a little bit longer, but I think Tera Vicious, the smartest thing for them to do is just retreat the fight, cede some ground a little bit, maybe stalling it out for a little bit longer. Who knows? Greg getting that last kill onto Tom, but they have a lot of ground to make up, but they do have ultimates to work with.
Yeah, they do, or they have 2. They have the duo of ultimates, the overclock, we know how powerful it is, and almost full railgun charge. This can be a really, if they find the charge, they find the shot onto Nate, but not a headshot. So still alive and well is Nate, and now ults are available, and Nate opens the fight again.
They get punished for not landing that headshot as Nate takes out Gregsterboy and Golden Beam, both with a railgun of their own. Tom with that sound barrier just really trying to secure the fight. Look, wow, you can't do that to people. That's insulting. They've already lost the fight. Why are you doing that? Come on.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And now forward spawns active again, and yeah, and the ult situation is way more in favor of Tera Vicious now again, as 3 ults to 3. I mean, the ults are a bit different, but they have roughly the same value in my opinion.
Oh, the Reaper TPs all the way in, has to use that Wraith form to get out. The Kitsune rush not quite in a favorable position for Tera Vicious, but it will not stop Creed from trying to get something done with this Primal Rage. But unfortunately, the picks will be coming in favor of Power Bottoms as Creed, the last one to fall, apart from Nate, who is still by the skin of their teeth alive. That's taken out there by Sergeant Panda's railgun. But, I mean, they still have a lot of ground to work from, and they still have the forward spawns.
Yeah, they still have the forward spawns, although it will be taken away from them now. It's the mirror overclock here. Nate has been really accurate with these railgun charge shots, so it's up to Sergeant Panda to prove the diff.
Oh, and prove the difference they do. Taking out Orcio with a very well-timed headshot onto them, teleporting in. No Kappas with that shot onto Creed, securing this fight in the form of that kill. Golden Beam with the Primal Rage, trying to keep something going. Gets 2 there. 1 last kill onto Luau will be enough for Power Bottoms to swing this fight in their favor.
Yeah, and regardless from what happens on the map, I feel like the competition of the best names is already in the hands of power bottoms. I know, you know, no cappers, Sergeant Panda. I really do like this name. Gregster boy.
Yeah, Tera Vicious, not Tera Vicious, Power Bottoms now getting that point, that butt scratch, that oh so important forward spawns. It does allow No Kappa to go a little bit aggressive. The Wraith form does get forced out from them, but they're able to get back to their team just in time. They try and get the kill onto Sergeant Panda, who falls very, very low, has to run away with their lives. It will be No Kappas with the Death Blossom now, finding the first in the form of Orcio, finding two, finding three with that Death Blossom Golden Beam, managing to sneak their way into the kill feed, but it will be that fight going the way of Power Bottoms, and I think they'll be able to cap this point now.
No, they won't. They will exceed in mileage, but
Yes.
they won't be able to cap the point. But they are in the lead. And my dear Funky Monk, there was the Beyblade who that got let rip, who I want them to fight.
Yep, now Creed, oh no, you've committed the cardinal sin of Winston, which is going in without your team. Gets taken out immediately by No Kappas. Luau trying to swing this fight back in the favor of Tera Vicious by getting that kunai kill. Both beats now out for either side. Orcio trying to make something work with this Reaper. Gets booped off of that high ground, but Gregster Boy does fall to these incredibly well-placed disruptor shots by Nate. That's like the, what, fourth time that Nate's disruptor shot has found a crucial kill in a fight?
I think it's the second, but yeah,
Right.
the picks that have been found have really been crucial. But don't forget, Tera Vicious need to exceed the mileage that the Power Bottoms has been able to produce, and they have to win the rest of the fights. It's probably only going to be one remaining fight, or maybe even two, depending on how early they can take it. But yeah, it probably will be two, as they are winning this fight, but still, they have one more fight.
Those early picks definitely helping Tera Vicious out there. They don't even have to use the ults in order to secure it for themselves. And they keep getting staggers. They get the staggers as well. Orcio now taking very aggressive positioning. They're trying to spawn camp here, leaving somebody on the point just to try and get some progression going. They have 3 ultimates now, including that all-important Kitsune Rush. The bot now pushing away. The Kitsune Rush going through. 2 kills now from Tera. And it will be them, I think, most likely taking this point as well as the map if they can first find the kills. And they do. Nate with the overclock, finding 3 in overtime. And it will be Tera Vicious taking Colosseo.
Yeah, they do, but it's well deserved, and it was really, really tight. Yeah, I really hold my breath here in the caster share. Yeah, it's a real nice comeback. They won 3 fights in a row. Or actually, Tera Vicious, they got the upper hand in terms of the mileage in the beginning. Power Bottoms was able to fight back and get it past them again, because they were had moved longer in the beginning, but then Tera Vicious in the clutch brought it back.
Yeah, Tera Vicious winning those fights, and I think it was a stroke of genius for them to just go uber aggressive and try and keep getting those stagger kills, because it only meant that Power Bottoms could get, well, like, what, 2 fights in? And Tera Vicious had those ults to work with, so even if they got that fight in, they were still getting out-ulted, just purely due to the fact that they were Kitsune rushing into their spawn.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I feel like we saw it was way closer than it was on Busan. But yeah, and again, even though they won't win the map, they already won the prize of the best names.
That is for sure. Not quite sure which map we're gonna go for next, but I think this is another good time to
plug the Arena 51 Open SR tournament that is going to take place this weekend. Again, 4K plus is recommended, but if you're bronze, feel free to be welcome and probably get rolled as well.
Yes, these are the caliber of teams that will be signing up, so be warned, essentially. But you know, if you want to sign up, it is open SR. There isn't a set SR limit, a set, you know, minimum SR requirements. Signups are still open. They will be until Thursday. The games will be streamed, casted as well. You'll see myself and Fralex casting at least one of them. And, you know, I look forward to it, essentially.
Yeah, I do as well, and hopefully, as we go into Younkertown, we will see another comp than the one we have been seeing for the entirety of the stream.
Yes, it looks like Tera Vicious are going for something new, which is mind-blowing, to say the least. They're putting Creed on that Sigma, not a hero that he is famous for, so it'll be definitely interesting to see how, you know, Creed has adapted to the singular tank role. Nate and Orcio as well, picking up those hit scans. Also, interesting that they put their flex DPS on the Widowmaker. Normally that's a role reserved for the hit scans, just because the hit scans click heads, right?
I mean, Nate clicks head on every character, especially on this Sojourn, this stream. So like, they're in a groove, and I wouldn't put it past them to keep Nate on the character that has been giving them so much success.
Yeah, that would be a little silly, but it will be interesting to see, you know, how these teams, you know, play out. And we will be seeing Luau on the Zenyatta, and I don't know why I want to hype up Luau's Zen, but we've seen what he can do on Kiriko. I imagine that, you know, putting Luau on the Zen will just be even more value, because name a more DPS-y support than Zen.
BAP, maybe, if you only go for damage, but no, there's no really. I really do hope we see this Bastion pick from Sergeant Panda, but no, it was not meant to be. We do see, on the other hand, a Kirito Zen that's been popular with the Sigma compositions. A lot of off angles, a lot of damage potential coming from the supports. It's about minimizing heals, not really though, and maximizing damage output from every role on the team, from every character.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see, you know, how the antis of Tom interact with the cleanses of Gregsterboy. But we will be seeing Sergeant Panda trying to take a little bit of an off angle here. The spam happening just almost constantly. Gregsterboy falling very, very low, just about getting out of the fight there. Orcio with a very cheeky angle with that headshot, helping Creed take out Gregsterboy. Getting forced out now a little bit by Golden Beam, who does manage to secure the kill onto the lone Widowmaker. Golden Beam now pushing forward a little bit more with this Sigma, forcing Creed out. The shield is now broken. Luau is out in the open and ripe for headshotting if they are not too careful. And yep, what did I tell you? Sergeant Panda gets that headshot almost immediately afterwards from this cheeky off angle. Yet another headshot, almost another kill onto Orcio. Only a body shot this time, but I say that they are still dueling. They're still going for it. Sergeant Panda falling very, very low now, almost getting that kill, but it will be no cappers with those two headshots, managing to take out Tom and Orcio respectively.
Yeah, in the beginning, Gregsterboy being a bit too greedy, not tipping away. But Sergeant Panda putting in a lot of work on the Widow. First, a headshot on Creed that forces them to drop off the high ground, and then two really important headshots to blow the fight wide open, and certainly put it in the favor of power bottoms.
Yeah, Creed's now sitting alone on point. It will be Nate trying to get something done, but they didn't quite account for the orbs of Zenyatta. Unfortunately for them, Creed now discorded and nano boosted. They're trying to get something working. Creed with that gravitic flux lifts up Callan, takes him out, gets that kill onto Golden Beam. It's a 4K for the tank known as Creed. That's a 5K for the tank known as Creed. Those golden Sigma orms very well earned. I said orms.
Yep, Flux plus Nano equals apparently a lot of kills. Even though Nano Sigma isn't the most powerful Nano in the world, but it certainly works when they're as talented as Creed.
Creed, you're bullying people now. Just stop. It's rude. Luau again with these so consistent headshots onto Gregsterboy once again. Golden Beam having to run the heck away, trying to get out there. 1 HP, only just managing to find some form of healing, but I mean, power bottoms have ults now. And no Widowmaker, but they have no Kiriko either, apparently. I mean, they're just never going to get to use ults if they keep getting picked like this. Creed and Luau putting on an absolute masterclass.
Yeah, and one thing that isn't really talked about much when you swap roles is that you still have a lot of understanding and game sense regarding your previous role. So as a support, you know what the DPS that is going to try to kill you or want to do. Especially if you've been as good on DPS as Luau has been.
Yeah, we will be seeing now Orzio using that Infrasight to try and secure some kind of pick. Both support outs now coming out from the side of Power Bottoms. Gregsterboy finding that first kill onto Nate. Ash, Luau with the Transcendence trying to keep everybody alive for a little bit longer. No Kappa's going way into the backline, gets taken out by Luau. Unfortunately, for them. The Sergeant Panda on the Widow falling very, very low as well. Luau's pulling on an absolute masterclass, unfortunately forgetting to orb Creed there for a little bit, trying to keep this fight alive for a little bit longer, but they are just alone Zen, and Callum will be the one to take them out.
Bob now sent on the Bob, Bob who's apparently very popular by Korean girls that like video games.
Yes, very, very popular. I think it's the hat that does it, as well as the excellently sculpted facial metal.
Expressions.
Facial expressions, yes. We will now be seeing, sorry for going on a little bit of diatribe, we will now be seeing Power Bottoms taking that first point and trying to get themselves set up for a little bit more capture progress.
Yes, they will indeed. And Grace the Boy, another kunai headshot, this time onto Luau. Luau, who has been picked actually by the supports of the opposing teams 2 times in a row now. Let's see what Luau can answer back with. Or we see a Nate now on the Widow and Orzio on the Tracer. So a swap here, and Nate opens it up. It's proving worth it.
Nate does open it up, but Sergeant Panda still has that infra sight, so peeking is very, very dangerous, especially when there's a Widow on the field. The site now going away for a little bit. Tom, we just see him trying to heal up. Nate there, a little bit. Creed getting a little bit low there, getting fluxed, unfortunately. Nate with 2, though, really opening up this fight for Tera Vicious. Creed managing to get that 3rd onto Callum, and it will be Tera Vicious through sheer attrition and waiting for Nate to click bodies. You know, holding out for a little bit longer. Oh, no.
Yes. Yeah, will be really interesting to see what develops of this situation regarding the Widowmakers. Now we see no cappers onto the Ash, maybe trying to kill Orzio with a quick headshot. Don't know, but either ways, Creed really aggressive, has been forced a lot of coolness already.
Yeah, the Flux now coming out from Creed, the Transcendence in response from Callum K, as well as the Kitsune Rush, which was used earlier in the fight, but it will be Sergeant Panda finding that first kill onto Orzio, but the Nano Boost has gone onto Creed, and we all know that when Creed is Nano Boosted, he does absolutely excellent things. Callum is very, very low. He's getting forced out a little bit there, gets met by an orb of volleys. Yes, an orb of volleys from Luau there, and it will be, I think, Tera Vicious continuing their hold.
Yes, it will be, and here you see the trade-offs of the Kiriko, respective of the Ana. Ana can provide a lot of healing and provide these nanos that has been fight-winning for Tera Vicious. But on the other hand, you have Drace the Boy, who has been able to land a lot of kunai headshots and opening fights up.
Yeah, I will say Creed has also been doing their part on the Sigma there. You just saw them get a kill onto No Kappas, who's gone Tracer just to try and keep this overtime going, but I don't think anybody's going to be able to touch. I mean, Tera Vicious just occupied so much space there that, yep, I mean, Power Bottoms just weren't able to get themselves on the point fast enough.
Yep, and that's a 2nd points hold for the side of Tera Vicious. I really do appreciate seeing these other comps rather than the old meta comp. One comp all the time, it becomes boring. You have to agree with me. I don't want to see another Goats. Please save me.
We've already had another Goats. It was called Jotes.
Right. Now we have.
We don't want to see a 3rd Goats.
we have Moats v2. Moats 2, as the normal Monkey Goats was just somebody of the Rhine. Now we have Moats 2, which is the Monkey comp.
See, I always called it Floats, because Like,
Oh yeah.
it floats.
Yeah, but yeah, we have. I want to call it modes too, as it's yeah, it's Overwatch 2 either ways. So like even if you don't agree with it, you can say that that's what it happens. And we still have people from power bottoms in spawn when they started the round.
That's not good. It's almost as if there's like a mechanism specifically to prevent that in scrim codes. We'll see Nate go for a cheeky air shot, only managing to find the body of Callum K. Both supports fell very, very low in that fight there. Golden Beam saving their own life with that shield, who also felt at half HP. But no Kappas will be forced out, but it will be Nate and Callum the first to fall from both sides. Callum getting a little bit aggressive, but it will be the sleep and the nade from the Ana confirming that kill onto Golden Beam. Creed just absolutely popping off once again on the Sigma. A little bit of a wave there to the Observer. Going for a little bit of a yep rock. Does not manage to find anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we have like two crucial differences. As we see no campers popping from the Hanzo to the Tracer may be able to put up more pressure on Nate and as you said, Nate and Orsi has now swapped heroes. Nate doing a lot of work on the Widow and Northsteel. Haven't been able to show their potential on the Sojourn yet because Creed is just killing everybody.
Yeah, Creed's just killing everybody. This is the Creed. Welcome to the Creed show, with Luau also appearing as a guest star.
Yeah, featuring Luau.
Yes, the Creed show featuring Luau. That's what this stream is called now. Update the time. No, Orcio now with that railgun shot managing to stagger out Grexterboy for a little bit longer, and I think we'll just be seeing Tera Vicious managing to not cap, but definitely push a little bit further than Power Bottoms, although I will say that that kill onto Nate is quite influential to the fight. Orcio falling very, very low, trying to get themselves not killed by moving around erratically in the air. The Tracer now trying to force out the supports of Tera Vicious, does not seem to find anything, unfortunately. Sergeant Panda falling very, very low, and it will be the railgun from Orcio taking them out, and it will be a second railgun headshot onto Grexterboy with the aid of the overclock, and a third onto Golden Beam. This is just insulting. You deserved that stick because that was just rude.
Callum cannot prevent the inevitable fight win for Tera Vicious there, and Nano gets wasted crucially. Now, Golden Beam misclicking Flux in spawn.
Oh dear.
Yeah, oh dear.
But they still have that Kitsune Rush to work with, and they are using it, but Creed with the Flux, keeping them in that small corridor. Sergeant Panda trying to make something work. Golden Beam, yep, rocking Luau into their grave. Creed, though, taking out Golden Beam at the last possible moments. No Kappas still trying to stall something out. Orcio with the Sojourn diff onto Sergeant Panda, and Tom picking up two of his own at the end there.
Yes, indeed. Tom showing the bloodthirsty support, or the bloodthirsty honor rather. And yeah, alts have been used for both sides. Only a overtalk and a infrastrike on board as in total for both teams. So 3 ults, more ult advantages in the favor of Power Bottoms. Let's see how it fares. Nate using oversight to begin the fight.
Yeah, and with that infrastrike, Creed was able to line up the shots just perfectly to be able to take out Sergeant Panda. And I mean, that pressure from Orcio onto the Zen just forces them into submission because they can't peek anymore because there's a Sojourn on the field and they can just one-shot you if they so please. Golden Beam just narrowly managing to avoid the railgun of Orcio there.
Yes, indeed. Interestingly enough, Power Bottoms didn't use their ults. They've been holding on to their ults for a long time throughout the map and throughout the series.
I mean, you can hardly use your ults when you're dead all the time, and they've already found 3 kills. Tera Vicious continuing this fight. I mean, the trance has to be used by Callum, but nobody's there to really contest anything. Orcio's trying to get something going here, but the Flux is too much. The headshot there coming out from Nate onto Callum K, who does manage to find the kill onto Orcio beforehand. But Nate, that's another cheeky headshot onto Gregsterboy. Creed, sorry, going absolutely ham, trying to get this fight going. Gets a 3K, and with that, the 3rd point of Junkertown, as well as the map win.
Yes, indeed. And now we see the maps is or the map is done rather. But yeah, the snipers and I would say just Nate, Creed, Luau, with the help of Orsio and Tom, they're performing really well. Creed like holding down the fort on the same beautifully. And I feel like the rock usage of Creed has been really quite good, I believe. Rocking Golden Beam out of suck a lot of times, and generally not being caught by the rocks that Golden Beam has been putting out.
Yeah, I definitely don't think I don't want it to come across like we're just singing the praises of the team that happens to be affiliated with our org. You know, I definitely think that Power Bottoms, you know, they definitely had some shining moments, but at the end of the day, it was really just the Tera Vicious show. I mean, this is Tera Vicious's world, and we're just living in it right now, and you know, it's
Yep.
it's definitely the bias is on display, but can you really say it's unfounded?
No, I don't think it's undeserved. They're playing really well. I want to say that Callum K has been really performing, has been really founding a lot of picks on the Sen, really rivaling Luau in terms of the amount of picks they've been getting, and in addition, Grace the Boy has been putting up a really good performance on both on the Lucio of the previous maps and the Sojourn and the Tree Guy. I mean, they didn't do a mid-stream role swap rather.
Yeah, it looks like Power Bottoms are going to be subbing in Nugs once again as we head on over to Eichenwalde once both teams are ready, and we will be doing that just now. Eichenwalde, of course, definitely a map that's seen, I don't know, just like varying amounts of metas. I know, you know, my team, you know, back in the days of Overwatch 1, we had a Pharah strat we'd run here where we'd just run double shield with a pharmacy. It was great fun, but I don't think we'll quite see that sort of thing. Well, we are kind of seeing that sort of thing from Tera Vicious at the moment, as they're probably baiting a few picks.
I mean, if you want to play Pharmacy on the first point defense of Eichenwalde is one of the best points for Pharah in the entire map of Overwatch, and with a power boost, a damage boost, it does a really wonderful work. I do not believe that Nate will be sticking on the Bastion, but we have seen Hog, especially in comp, doing a lot of work.
Oh, Hog.
And with the meta as it is not right now, Ana and Zen, who are two of the best counters to Hog, are not that prevalent, and so there's no anti for the healing. There's no destroy for amplified damage, although Reaper can do a lot of damage. And in addition to Hog's 700 HP hero pool, HP pool, you can really tank a lot of damage, especially if Tom on the Ana pockets.
Yeah, it does look like we're actually going to be seeing this comp from Tera Vicious, and I gotta say, I'm very excited. You can definitely get an interesting crossfire with the assault configuration of the Bastion, with the spam of the Pharah, as well as, you know, the WoW on the Mercy helping out there. I'm so excited to see how this plays.
I am surprised about the Bastion pick. I know my Bastion main on my team really likes Bastion on every map, especially on this map one. But Bastion is a hero for 6 seconds, and then for the next 10 seconds, he's basically void.
Yeah, but what a hero that 6 seconds creates.
Yeah. But still, it's a really this is the kind of fun things I was advocating for, and I wanted to see.
Yeah, the dive comes in there, and I mean, Nate just gets taken out immediately, but the res almost gets through from Luau. Orzio trying to keep this fight alive on the Pharah, trying to get something done. Creed just tanking so much damage, so Orzio is able to get that kill. Gets taken out, unfortunately, by Golden Beam, and I mean, that'll just be it for that fight. Nate going over onto the more conventional pick of the Sombra instead of the Bastion, which, I mean, I'm not complaining, really. We all saw how that went.
Yeah, I was not sure about the Bastion, and if you swap the Bastion for like a Sombra, like you would say, or maybe an Ashe from the start, you really have a really good potential for a hold. And you see a swap for BAP instead of Mercy, so Orzio will be really left out to dry, I believe.
Oh, Creed. Oh, Creed. Did you just bait them into that small room just so you could get a 2K with your whole hog? Because that is filthy. That's just disgusting. Nate as well getting that 2K on the Ashe, but I mean, oh my word. That's just... do we allow that? Is that a thing that we allow in our, like, in our guidelines, in our community guidelines?
I mean, I don't have the time or the energy to read through all of them, so I'll just say it's allowed.
Yeah, we'll say that for now. Power Bottom's trying to get another dive in there. Orzio in a little bit of a precarious spot, trying to get a bit of a stall going on. Nate with that dynamite trying to find an early pick onto Gregsterboy, but it will be the barrage coming through onto Nugs, that first pick in the favor of Tera Vicious, but unfortunately for them, Nate is swiftly taken out afterwards, but Orzio gets a second kill onto Golden Beam. Creed as well with the kill onto Gregsterboy, and now Power Bottoms can do nothing but run away.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that this far no mercy is working. As I mean, Tom is putting out a lot of healing onto Orzio, so I guess that's semi-pocket. But like Golden Beam can easily just spam down the Pharah. Like,
yeah, I think Creed will be looking for another hook here. Not quite.
Yeah,
yep,
like even Golden Beam can poke down the Pharah.
Yeah, the overclock used, but unfortunately the Pharah is just too broken. Luau getting that second kill onto Callum K. Nate with the third onto Gregsterboy. Golden Beam, one of the only people left alive. No cappers, nobody knows where they are, but now they're in the grave. I mean, just such a great fight there for Tera Vicious. Now the only consistent damage onto their Pharah, it just got taken out in the form of that overclock.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised that Orzio isn't die more. It really merits A, the positioning that they have, and B, the healing they get from Tom.
Yeah, now they primal rage, but it gets booped off the map by the concussive blast. Orzio, you're just putting on a show for us today. Creed once again with that whole hog getting that kill, but you just knocked Winston off of a map with primal. What?
Yeah, they're just beating their head into a wall right now, trying to force this team composition. They really should look into switching sometime soon.
Oh, the Nano Barrage comes in, it finds Nugs early, it takes up Callum K as well! This Pharah is just going completely uncontested. Sure, Golden Beam and No Cappers have just taken out both of the supports, but like, Orzio's just killed your Reaper, and Golden Beam's alone there. Does manage to take out Orzio there, but like, they've just been hooked in. They have 145 health left. Creed is able to keep that cart locked down with only a minute 50 remaining.
Nugs now going on to the Cassidy, and it's not a pick I like seeing. Cassidy in general is really weak. You should, especially against Pharah nowadays, it doesn't have the range to really do anything against it. And beautiful boop from Gregsterboy to prevent the huge kill onto Nugs.
I mean, Creed lived for such a long time there. Got like, what, 20 seconds out of them there? But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, as Tera Vicious's Pharah hold must do also. No cappers getting to there before being taken out by the Ashe. So, you know, Tera Vicious still have time to recoup, regroup as well. Luau obviously swapping over to the Zen in the meantime from I don't know how long ago. I'm sorry that I didn't pick up on that. Creed, though, with another kill onto Callum K. The point still progressing, though, for the side of Power Bottoms.
Yes, indeed. Nate using the handsome guy on cart, getting your register boy early, and yeah, again they're able to cement themselves on the high ground, and again they have this seemingly insurmountable hole to break once more. They don't have really anything to easily get onto the high ground, force it down, and force Orcio out of position, especially now that they have the orb.
Oh, that first pick is so good for them because they've just taken out the consistent hit scan. Ozzy almost has barrage. They're gonna use it. It gets 2. Almost gets a 3K. The anti-nades just about managing to find that kill onto No Cappers. Creed, the last person to get a kill there. The closest person to the cart is Nugs, and they're never gonna touch it in time.
And they die with 5 ults. 5 ults they die with. It's hard when you get into followed into a room by Creed using whole hard, and then when you exit the room you get justice raining from above.
I mean, if only they had some kind of ultimate that could have prevented that immediate onslaught of damage.
Yeah, if only.
If only.
If only they were able. And nonetheless, I feel like their attack on A was really good. But I feel like they needed to switch team compositions when it was really apparent that it didn't work on second. Don't forget that the old meta comp, the moats 2, it's really it's like a brawl. It uses a lot of mobile characters, but it's still a brawl. And it's supposed to be played like a brawl. And if you can't play it like a brawl, you really should consider evaluating your options in terms of team comps.
I think Tera Vicious are just screwing with us now. They're keeping Orzio on the Pharah. I think they swapped over to the Zarya to keep them a little bit more protection when they go for barrages and whatnot. Like Orzio needed it, really, at that point. They will be trying to take a little bit more of an aggressive fight. They do manage to get a lot of damage into No Cappers, who falls to half health and has to back away. The bubble now used by Golden Beam. Orzio trying to flank around the side. Gets that first pick onto Nugs. It's go time for the side of Tera Vicious as they push onto point. The Winston falling very, very low, just about managing to take out Nate there. But the barrage of rockets, not the ultimate, but just the actual spam from Orzio, just forces the entirety of Power Bottoms away from point. And that's going to be a really fast point cap, unless Golden Beam can work some magic with their Kiriko. But nope, they see 9.
Yeah, they get forced off the point, and but on the they force themselves onto the point, and thus they absolutely they give up their hold on high ground. Just now, guess what is going to happen? Tera Vicious is going to get control of the high ground, and thus the Ashe is not going to get in a proper position, and Orcio on the Pharah don't have to attack into the high ground positioning, and will just be able to wreak even more havoc than they are already doing.
Yeah, Orzio has just been playing this Pharah really well, I think, but they do manage to get that high ground anyway, despite what you were saying, Creed trying to battle them off of it. The barrage just looking there, does come out there, does manage to kill Callum K, as well as Nugs. Grestavoy taking them out in the meantime, falling very, very low in the process. Nate not quite able to finish off that kill, but it will be enough for Tera Vicious to get some serious progress on cart.
Yeah, that's what I said. That was what I was talking about. They were able to cement themselves on the high ground, which means that there's a huge distance to be crossed for a Pharah between where you're coming from spawn and to the castle, and as an Ashe you're really usually able to zone out the Pharah by just standing there, but Nugs were not able to stand there and zone out the Pharah. The Pharah was just able to cross freely, and that's what cemented the fight win for the speed barrage, but now we see Orcio going onto the Sojourn.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound caster biased as well. I would like to acknowledge that No Kappa's just pulled off an absolutely astounding 3K just while you were talking about, you know, high ground and stuff. Golden Beam falling very, very low now. Gets taken out by Nate there. Orcio as well, though, going very, very low. No Kappa's trying to take them out at the last second, but Luau with that headshot swings the fight firmly in favor of Tera Vicious. They have 36 HP now. Nate does take them out with a right click to the face, and I think Tera Vicious now are going to reclaim that all-important high ground.
I mean, in this part of the map, they don't even need it. What they do need is ultimates, and they have a lot of it. But so has power bottoms. It's 5 to 4 ults.
Yeah, I think tempo is going to be very, very important there. The grab used in the window! Greg's the boy forced to use the beat in order to keep everybody else alive. Nate waiting it out, managing to get that kill first. 4 ultimates there coming out from power bottom, so it really would be a shame if they didn't win this fight, which of course, I mean, they do win this fight. They use 4 ultimates. What do you expect? Tom, the only person left alive, trying to escape with his life. Hopefully we'll be able to do that, or maybe they'll get secured by power bottoms. Creed now going over to the Orisa.
Yeah, Orisa as a character isn't in the strongest place right now, but the thing is with Orisa, her ult is bad, her tools are bad, but if you land your javelins, you can get a lot of value.
Yep, they go all the way in now with the aid of that Kitsune Rush. They knew how powerful the Orisa was with it, the extra fire rate, and 2 people straight off of the map. Tom with that double boot, securing this point, I think, for Tera Vicious.
Yeah, Nugs, the bomb of Nugs went really far. It went almost to the new spawn, and sure, it got Orcio, but it wasn't able to get the zoning on point as they were looking for.
Yeah, definitely not. And we've all seen Nate as well going over onto this Hanzo, so it's definitely, you know, more of a compositional change. Creed falling very, very low, though. The focus fire from power bottoms is just too much for him to sustain through it. Golden Beam as well, taking out Orcio on that Sojourn. Luau trying to keep themselves alive, unable to, unfortunately, as Golden Beam gets that final melee kill.
Yes, indeed. But that's a lot of ults used for both, or no, ults available rather for both ults, except for a overclock from Orcio. And if Youngstown is anything to go by, they are dangerous.
I mean, we've seen Orcio use overclocks before. This guy is a force. Well, we can't see him use it anymore because Callum just decides to land a Kiriko headshot, and that was incredibly clutch for them at the time. I mean, it's going to be a real uphill battle now for Tera Vicious, and I think the smartest thing that they can do is just get out and just reset. Yeah.
We see now almost the Oversleed meta comp. We do see no campers on the Genji, almost with the blade. Let's see what they can make with that.
Well, it doesn't look like they're going to make much. Well, I say that. They go in with the blade, but Orcio with that disruptor shot manages to take them out as well. Nugs, though, in the meantime, managing to find Creed early, so Tera Vicious are without their main tank, and they have to use 2 ultimates to compensate for that. Orcio not quite finding what they wanted with that overclock, but Creed now will be returning. They do have the Kitsune Rush online, and they use it to try and secure this fight. Golden Beam falling very, very low. They push forth all the way into the spawn of power bottoms. All of them falling very, very low indeed. Creed trying to keep them in spawn. Golden Beam going all the way into the backline of Tera Vicious, but Orcio with that incredible disruptor shot, managing to find 2 kills there, which is quite a lot when you're respawning and trying to contest a cart and you have a scientist just blocking the way. No Kappa's falling very, very low once again. The Death Blossom coming out, managing to find Callum K. The point still going, and the cap coming out from Tera Vicious, taking Eichenwalder.
Yeah, and one of the most crucial things is that they are forced into their spawn. And I think the responsive, you saw that Luau used his Kitsune Rush to engage. They power bottoms, they backed off, but then they waited far too long with using their own Kiriko, Kitsune, and re-engaging into the fight. So the Kitsune, it ended up just being in spawn, and as you saw, Creed was just gatekeeping, so no value at all.
Yeah, and it looks like that will be it, actually. Both teams saying GG's. Sorry for the short cast, I guess, but I guess we're only seeing 4 maps today, which is a little unfortunate. I was personally kind of hoping for more. I was genuinely really enjoying myself, but it does look like we will be able to be interviewing people today. We have Creed and Nate in the waiting room currently, and hopefully soon we can bring them in for a little bit of a chat.
Yeah. Hopefully we can. And it's not even it's Nate. It's Nate. It's the real Nate.
Yes, the real Nate. Like the real actual Nate.
Yes.
It's
That's very
incredible.
important. Yeah, it's very important. You need to keep on top of the details. So it's not just Nate. It's the real deal. It's not some budget version.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm very good with details. Just ask my orb of volleys. But yeah, I think it is interview time now. Both of them are in the waiting room. I'm not sure if I can drag them in. I don't think I can. Oh, hello, Creed. Welcome to the stream. How are you today?
Great, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we saw your. I mean, first of all, I have to get this out of the way. Your Sigma. Just how was that coming onto a role that you're maybe not so familiar with for Overwatch 2 and just like frankly stomping?
Well, not gonna lie, I was crying about 120 ping and I couldn't hit a single rock almost. But luckily I have played a lot of I have at least I scrimmed like for 3-4 months on off tank because I was gonna practice my shot calling and that kind of stuff on the other side. So I wanted to try out off tank, see if that was easier. So luckily I have some experience with it, but yeah, I didn't think it would go this smoothly going into Overwatch 2.
Yeah. And we saw the servers in general struggling. How was it like for the team and for you playing on higher ping than usual than ideally?
Well, you saw it at the beginning of Colosseo, I think, that we were kind of struggling at first. Because, well, I'm going to be honest, I have never played on high ping almost. I normally play on like, what is it, like 30 ping average. So it was kind of like getting used to it. But once we kind of figured out like our groove and that kind of stuff, it went pretty well. And comms kept up, so that's also a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, your target focus, especially on that first map, for whenever Golden Beam just took the slightest wrong move, it were immediately on them. I mean, that must have taken a lot of coordination.
Yeah, I'm happy with like the amount of talking we have in the team. Like Orcio talks a lot. To be honest, everyone talks a lot. Which means that communicating is a lot easier. And target focus, you just like echo call and everybody will be on the same page most of the time.
Yeah, target focus is all about just shouting one person really, really loud and hoping everybody else turns around and shoots at the person, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most people are from the same core from Alpha Centauri of Overwatch 1. So you really are ahead in terms of synergy in that way, in general. And yeah, it shows.
Well, luckily Sam actually joined Moonrise, the same team as Nos is on. He was ringing today on flex support. But the rest, like you said, is like with Nate, wasn't originally on AC, but I've played a long time with him. So like I have pretty good synergy with him. And Tom and Orcio are both like our ex teammates, but like they're both trialing now. So yeah, like you said, we have pretty good synergy already, which also shows in the match of the scrim we played today.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely had a lot on your plate going into it, but I want to ask specifically about Luau. We saw them absolutely popping off on the flex support role, or main support role. It's really difficult to tell because, you know, they're playing the Kiriko, they're playing the Zen. Definitely more aim-intensive heroes. How's been the swap? How's the swap been?
Well, not gonna lie, is we just had to find a ringer real quick, and he was like, you know, let me just play Karika. And I mean, we have seen it in League where Teru, who was officially a DPS player, was playing the Kariko, and like, I think it's good that there is a support now that is aim focused. So I think we had an advantage with that. And he just played well. He understood the role. So yeah, great overall.
Yep. By the way, do you know what Zenyatta is? Isn't he aim based?
Who?
Zenyatta.
No.
Okay. So you hear it here first. Zen is not a aim-based character. So tell everybody who misses their shots that they just don't have to get better at aim.
Well,
They
the biggest
just
thing is apparently the ping also was really irritating for the Zen players. But yeah, not gonna lie, it's kind of random. It's like Hanzo. I'm gonna be honest. You just spam corners and hope you get a kill.
Yeah, I mean, both flex supports on both teams were putting in a lot of work and getting a lot of crucial picks in those fights. I want to slightly veer off away from the game and talk about the upcoming OpenSR tournament. Will we be seeing Tera Vicious participating?
Depending on how fast the trial goes. I at first I didn't think trial would go this fast. But depending on how much time we still have before the OpenSR tournament, we might actually join. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Just to get the experience up.
signups are open until Thursday evening, so you've got not plenty of time, but you've got a decent amount of time to get a roster together. Maybe not the roster that you would particularly want to set in stone, but definitely a roster that you could go into a tournament with, and yeah, I don't know, maybe pick up some good wins.
Yeah. Well, at least it's probably going to be better than the 0-2 AC went in the Goats tourney. I still have nightmares about that one.
Yeah, we don't talk about the entire A51 just hyping you up and then bumping the bag.
If we turn things back into in-game Overwatch, what do you think about the Overwatch 2 meta right now, or as it will be after the new balance patches come in? We've been talking about it quite a lot on the stream. What do you feel about the balance? Which heroes do you want to see a nerf or buff for that?
Well, I mean, nerf definitely Sojourn. I think that character is way too broken, and I think after that, the game is kind of balanced, because I don't think they're the meta we're playing now, the Winston. I don't think that's actually the most optimal. I think just it's the easiest to execute right now. So I think there's gonna be a counter comp eventually, and you already see it in contenders where they're playing a lot more Hog. We tried it last scrim, didn't work out, so that's why we decided on Icon Vault here to try and play Hog again. And it actually went better. Although hooking people with 120 ping is harder, but yeah, it depends. I think the game is in a pretty good state. I think the only one you want to nerf is Sojourn, and that's it.
Yeah, that's
Buff Doom, by the way. Now that
yes.
Buff Doom, please. I want to play that character so hard.
I don't disagree with you there. I definitely did want to ask about the comps that you pulled out on Eichenwalder. What was the thought process behind the Bastion specifically?
Nay was just rolling.
Oh, cool.
I was like, if we're 3-0 up, we can get a bit creative, and they took that a little bit too literally. So that's how we ended up playing Pharmacy Bastion.
Yeah, that did kind of backfire a little bit. I mean,
yeah,
you're playing like a very static character against a very mobile close range comp, and there's not enough damage in the world to save you from that, unfortunately. But I think you did a decent job trying to restabilize that fight.
Yes, indeed. Well, have you been experimenting with any Rhine? We know that you in particular like playing Rhine. How do you feel about Rhine in general at the moment? Are you using it on certain points?
So,
Or
funny thing is, the last scrim that would have gone a stream, the one against Salty Seaman, we actually played Ryan on King's Row. I think Ryan has his place. And if you have a good Ryan, I think he's pretty viable. But I think the nerfs has to come through first for him to actually be viable, because right now I think if you just play Zarya against him, he's kind of useless. But once the nerfs come through, I think you can play him on a variety of maps. I think Winston will still be better on high ground maps like was it
Gibraltar.
Dorado? Yeah, Gibraltar, Dorado, those kind of maps. But I think like on Busan, that kind of stuff, you could actually play Rhine if you want to.
Yeah, the target for, I guess, a lot of metas is being able to play many things at once, and, you know, the only limit being how good you are at that thing. And we definitely saw that in, you know, stage 1 and, well, just stage 1 of the Overwatch League with the London Spitfire, who just ran Brawl constantly, and, I mean, rolled quite a few teams who just weren't prepared for the Chatty.
Yeah. So yeah, you might actually see us pull it out. Probably if we're because we haven't practiced it. Well, we practiced it one map, on Kings Row. So maybe we'll practice it a little bit more. But definitely the problem right now is that Mei is disabled, which is a big part of Brawl. So yeah, I think once Mei is also back in the game again, I think Brawl will be a lot better. And might actually counter this comp right now with the Mei wall.
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely make sense. If you can isolate a Reaper after they've used the Wraith form, I mean, it's just a dead guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen myself a Bastion being used instead of Mei. What are your thoughts about that in brawl compositions?
I think it's just a niche thing. I think if you, like I said, if you have a good Bastion player, maybe it will work. But I think if you have good enough focus, especially with his self heal gone, I think he will just die quick. And you can just kite the form where you just don't use speed boost. When they go in turret form, you just disengage and then go back in when he doesn't have it. So you got it's kind of like Overwatch 1 where you just got to pump a lot of resources into him for him to work. But if you know that the enemy doesn't know how to counter it, like you're golden.
Yeah, and you'll definitely have a lot more. I guess the sort of novelty factor of the Bastion would definitely not upset, but definitely. I'm trying to find the right word here. Just sort of offset a lot of teams, like just in terms of, you know, oh, we weren't expecting a Bastion. We're probably, you know, gonna panic for a map or two, and then they go like,
Yeah.
okay, it's a Bastion. Just pick Sombra and it'll be fine.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
feeling that's gonna be happening. Also, the biggest thing is if the patch comes out the 17th now, right? So Sombra will
Yes.
get nerfed, so that maybe means Bastion will also be a little bit better.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows? We haven't played on the patch. We don't really know what will be played on the patch, apart from, of course, you know, the sort of floats 2.0, or as Fralex would prefer calling it, moats 2.0.
Yeah.
Definitely, not much variety, but, you know, that's just because people haven't had enough time with it. And unless we have anything else to say, particularly.
I am out of questions, frankly.
All right, and with that, I think we'll conclude this interview. Thank you very much, Creed, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.
Goodbye. And with that, we will have to say goodbye.